One, two, three.
Welcome to Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous.
No. Welcome to X-Rated, the X-Men animated review show.
Who the fuck are you, you red-looking motherfucking muffin-looking mother?
I am your host, Dev Ken.
Do you not know who I am? He must not know who I am.
Seriously. Anyway, with me, as always, is my co-host.
I'll beat the shit out you.
And he'll beat the shit out you. The Gladiandre.
I was wondering how long it'd take before we got into the memes based around this episode, and man, oh man, right off the get-go, we just clammed him over the head with it. I like it.
Coming out flying, I tell you.
There's a lot of my favorites in this one.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, there's a lot of those memes. Anyway, yes,
we also have a guest.
They're coming out of the woodwork.
They're coming out of the woodwork.
I'm the Juggernaut, bitch.
My cousin of the show, cousin of the podcast, Super Dave Mater.
That may
How you doing, Super Dave?
That may be the nerdiest, whitest version of that phrase I've ever heard. It was great.
Yeah, of course. Doing well. Yes, and how fitting, Davin, that this is the episode we're doing, because in the comic books, Black Tom and Banshee are cousins, but in this, they're brothers. So, I don't know, maybe we'll be brothers for tonight. But,
dear brother.
Yeah.
Our powers can't hurt each other. So.
Yeah, the classic, the Summers Brothers problem.
Well, you could quote one of my favorite. I mean, I'm sure we're going to reference some of the funny meme stuff that came out of this at the end of the Juggernaut bitch video. But one of my favorite lines from that is when Banshee says, "You can't hurt me when I'm wearing these Jamaican colors." So, as long as you get your Jamaican colors on, you'll be safe.
I went red. I went more Black Tom colors here tonight, but
Black Tom does not wear all red, I don't believe.
Not all red. No, he's got some red in there. He might be the red. Is he the red stag fighting the golden dragon that is Banshee?
I believe that's the coat of arms from the castle. Yes, which you will get to.
Custody keep.
Custody keep.
Yes.
As I said, we are your hosts, Devin and Andre, joined by Dave, and we are here to review Season 3, Episode 5 of X-Men the Animated Series.
So instead of calling him cousin Dave, do I call him Brother Dave tonight?
This one's the Cry of the Banshee.
Maybe.
Yes.
Oh, that's the wrong banner. I'm all over the place here.
Christ, what are you?
Here we go. I got a lot of banners and segments. Look. Anyway, the Phoenix Saga Part 3, Cry of the Banshee.
Yes.
We were with you last week. I don't want to talk about it because I'll cry, but we're here this week.
Oh, did things go south? I'm sorry, dude.
Yeah, things went as south as they could go.
Oh, I'm really sorry, man.
Yeah, well,
that's tragic.
It sucks. Yep.
As a pet lover myself, that's always sad. I'm very sorry.
Very sad. I'm sorry for your loss, Davin.
Thanks, man.
Well, let's not. If you want to cry, we're here for you, buddy.
Oh, I'll cry.
I mean that seriously. I don't mean that as an asshole. I mean that seriously. Believe me.
Oh, I know. Well, if I feel like I have to. And cousin Dave here is from Live Long Podcast and Super Mater Brothers, trivial debates, all that stuff. We'll talk about it all later. But first, or we could talk a little bit about now, because first thing we got up here. Catching up with Super Dave.
First segment coming up. Oh, well.
What have you been doing between last season and this season, Dave?
Yeah.
I've been watching a lot of Star Trek shows.
Really?
Yeah.
That's one show.
I podcast about Star Trek so much that I feel like I think of Star Trek now in a different way than I ever did. Maybe like you guys probably feel about this show. Going through episode by episode, definitely, I'm sure gives you a different connection to the material. And we do the radio theater plays. I don't know if you ever caught those, Andre. But we'll do script reads, like audio dramas of some of the Star Trek episodes. Davin's been in a few of them. And so that gives you a whole different connection to it too. I find like getting to reinterpret a character or put your own spin on it, or even look at how writing is put together and things like that. So doing a lot of podcasts around Star Trek. Also do the Super Mater Brothers podcasting, which is more like reality TV focused, I would say. Scripted and unscripted. We do Survivor and Big Brother and different shows covering those over there. And Trivial Debates is our third show, which we do once a month. It's like a debate show, kind of like what do you call that? Movie fights over on Screen Junkies, kind of in that vein. But here I shared the poster there to you, Davin, so you can check out our next edition here coming up on August 21st, 2022. We got Chris Murphy, Nova Scotia's own.
My buddy Murphy.
Yeah, with
Jody's beard.
Yeah, it's a hell of a mustache or something. Jody Simpson, Adam Woodward, and Chris Seymour competing. This should be a good one. So check that out on August 21st.
That looks fun.
Yeah. Now, Dave, I assume you watched the previous 2 episodes as well as this one. I'm just guessing.
I did watch them. Actually, it's good because if we had done this podcast a week ago, I only had time to watch like part 3. So I was missing a lot of context. So today I watched the first 2 parts and then up to part 3 again. So just to get...
That's perfect, because what we like to do around here is... rewind. Like it's apostrophe 92 when you used to rewind things. Remember rewinding?
Yeah. Well, they give you fees.
You'd even have your own rewinder.
Now,
more people like me use the VCR, but some folks had their own rewinding device.
What's your stance on the hoity-toityness of a dedicated rewinder system?
What's my stance on it?
Come on, give us that hard stance. That super.
I think it's
controversial.
Convenient because you can watch something as well as rewind. Andre thinks it's just too much luxury.
Let's keep
it. It softens you as a person.
I'm glad we moved past it. The digital mediums that came, like when CDs came along and DVDs and all that. Of course, I'm glad we did away with it.
Yes, it was a bygone era that is best remembered as a part of the past. We don't need to bring back rewinders or VHS.
No.
Although sometimes, I know the company A24 that does a lot of like strange indie movies, like The Green Knight most recently, or Man, or Ari Aster's movies. Give me a minute to think about it. Midsommar, some of those, they just release like VHS versions of some of their more popular movies as like kind of a limited edition little tribute thing. So it's interesting to see some of these companies take more modern movies and kind of try to make them fit those little VHS formats and give them the colored cassettes and everything, which is kind of interesting. So it is certainly a little nostalgia dive. Nothing I'm interested in owning because I don't want to have to ever plug a VCR in again. But it's cool that they're out there and that they're.
I guess so. It's like my stance on record players. I'm like, if you really want to own a record player and play vinyl, go.
Hey, you're talking to the wrong 2 guys.
I know.
I was going to say, there's one right there. There's one in the other room. There's one in my library. I have like 800 records.
It's sort of in the same vein.
No, it's different. I once thought Robert Johnson was in the same room as me because of a record, and he's been dead a long, long time.
Yeah,
were you like on acid or mushrooms?
No, it's just it sounded so real. I actually turned around to see who was playing.
Interesting. I mean, I think like records actually do sound really good. There's nothing better about. I'm not gonna get into like all this nostalgia nerdy shit or hipster stuff about saying it's like the ultimate in sound. It probably isn't. Who knows? But I like the taking the record, looking at it, putting it on, playing it through. It does still sound really good while you're playing it. It's something that fills the air. It's nice. There's a real ritual to it that I really enjoy. But VHS, there's nothing like I collect Blu-rays too. So yeah, but there's nothing superior by going to a VHS.
I didn't realize how bad they looked until I went back and like a couple of years ago and actually saw a VHS, and it's wow. How did we not notice the lines and stuff and the miscoloring everywhere?
Remember the tracking? You'd have to hit the tracking button on the.
Tracking and contrast.
The good old days.
Those are your friends. Anyway, that was quite the tangent. The reason we're rewinding like it's apostrophe 92 is what were your thoughts on the last 2 episodes, the lead up to this one, Dave?
Okay, just like my first real thought, like after watching, especially the first 2 this morning, and then again the third part. And no, I do remember vaguely 4 and 5 that come after this. It's bananas that a kids cartoon show did this. Like it is like you want to talk about Star Trek, maybe like this is right up there with some real like intricate science fiction stuff. But on the other hand, it still thinks it still acts like a kid show sometimes, and sometimes it's written kind of like a kid show, like especially the Juggernaut comes along, and I'm like or I guess like a character like Jubilee is there kind of for like the youngest kids who might be watching.
Yeah, it's the Juggernaut, bitch.
Yeah. But it's like you got Shi'ar empires, you got ransoms and mental health issues and astral planes, and there's just so much insanity in these 3 episodes. Like it's less than an hour of content. And hats off to them. They really went for it, and I think that it's why this show is remained so beloved. Spider-Man, I think, had its arcs as well. Like they would do different things, and Spider-Man, the animated series, was going on at the same time, which was a great show as well. But this was I couldn't believe they were doing this. I'm like, and then like Superman flies out of the sky, and he's like, he's called the Gladiator, and
he's got a sick mohawk.
Yeah, I got lots to say about him later. But
yeah. And I think more than anything, like this Phoenix Saga and learning about it through the cartoon, like I did when we were kids, it really opened up my mind to like when Guardians of the Galaxy, the movie, came out years later. I was like, oh yeah, like Marvel has amazing like space stuff, like all kinds of great like expanded stuff. So I was like, oh, I think like maybe Marvel can delve into something that a lot of people, even mainstream Marvel fans, may not be super familiar with, right?
It's coming. I mean, they're bringing in the X-Men, and the X-Men brings the crazy, and so does the Fantastic Four. Like the Avengers were always sort of the white bread of the comics.
Like they're street level kind of guys mostly, right? And so but dealing with these grander things is pretty amazing. And the Juggernaut is magic. Like we have magic in this, and out science and aliens and all kinds of things.
Silly bitch, your weapons cannot harm me. Don't you know who the fuck I am?
And we got a great meme out of it. But I mean, at this point, we're like it's season 3, so like we've already gone through Magneto, Apocalypse, Mr. Sinister, Mojo. Like we've already had such an establishment of all these crazy different Gygric, the Sentinels, people from the future, all of this stuff. We already had such a buildup of all of this fantastical insanity that doesn't like. I feel like each season adds a little more, and now that we're at season 3, when we're getting the Phoenix, the Shi'ar, Eric the Red. Juggernaut again, but I mean, he wasn't really established. We haven't really established his origin story yet at all, even still. I mean, this show does have kind of a just because mentality sometimes. That was one of my biggest complaints about earlier in the season when we met Lady Deathstrike, about like how they're pretty lax on explaining her connection to like her father's connection to creating Wolverine, all this sort of stuff. So I don't know if we're going to get a full origin of Juggernaut or not at some point. I mean, I think there is a Return of the Juggernaut episode next season. After. So perhaps we'll get it then. But it is like somewhat just like even there's an episode that I complained about in season 2 where they just established Storm has like there's this big enemy called the Shadow King the X-Men have fought before, but we've never seen it. They're just drop you in on it and be like, there he is.
They're like, oh crap, the Shadow King. We're like, what?
Yeah, and like you forgot about that episode. You just they
were like that with the Juggernaut too. It was like he's called the Juggernaut. And like,
it's like remember the period in TV when they tried to like, or movies even, which even was stupider, when they try to like incorporate that you can go online and learn more. Like when they put out the movie. This is getting esoteric now, but the movie. oh crap, I'm blanking on it. The name of it was the Richard Kelly, the guy who did Donnie Darko, his next movie. The Rock was in it. It was a very strange movie.
Southland Tales.
Southland Tales. Thank you. Yeah, so that movie was like, there's a comic book that fills in some of it, but then a web page you got to go to get this other guy's story that fits in some other stuff. Plus, you got to watch the 2.5-hour movie. And if you get all those things together, you'll have a brief, maybe full understanding of what's going on. But even then, you probably won't. So it kind of feels like this is like a precursor for that. But there's no other thing you have to learn. Like if you go to the website, you'll get all the info, but there's no website and whatever. Fuck you. Watch the show.
Had they established before this episode that Juggernaut was the half brother of Professor? They had already established that, because I thought that was interesting that Juggernaut and Black Tom, who are respectively brothers to these other characters, both love interests of Moira McTaggart, are like kind of the antagonists of the episode, along with Eric the Red, along with Gladiator, along with the Shi'ar Empire. There's a lot of antagonists in this 22 minutes, quite frankly.
There's a lot going on here. So
there's a lot going on.
Maybe we should get into it.
Previously on X-Men.
The name's Juggernaut, dear brother. And you must be Galandra.
I'll beat the shit out you. You better run, Charles.
Get on my head, Charles. So many good ones. Was the one that at one point he says to Jubilee, like, what does he say? You got to hear you Bret Hart looking motherfucker or something like that. He got like the Bret Hart vibes.
Is that a line in the episode?
No, it's the meme. It's the meme.
Oh.
But it's just really funny.
Oh my god, I would have loved it if they had a Bret Hart reference in this.
That would have been great. She does have those Bret Hart glasses, that's for sure.
They do. She does.
They're making a comeback now as the company Pit Vipers. Everybody's wearing them all over the place now. They're called, but they're very similar. That mirrored big visor kind of sunglasses.
Oh, yeah. But we are here again to review the Phoenix Saga Part 3, Cry of the Banshee, written by Michael Eaton's, which I
Has he read every episode of this saga?
Half of them. No, of this saga? Yeah, I think so far.
So he writes the whole Phoenix Saga, essentially. So
I don't know if he writes all. No, it's not actually. He wrote the first one, I believe, and then his brother wrote the second one, and then he writes two, and then I think his brother writes the last one. And directed by...
So the brothers Eden do them.
Larry Houston.
Friend of the show, Larry Houston.
Takes away.
No, I always do this. You do it. No, I'm kidding.
What?
Yeah, I should totally...
I did it the first time.
Yeah, that was
I broke the ice.
episodes ago. Literally a million episodes ago. And then you're
I was like, we're going to go back and forth at this, and then I never did it again.
I think it was more like, hey, I do everything else in this show. Can you at least do this? And I was like, yes.
Yeah.
This and graphics. I can do those two things.
I should use that on Jeff. I'm like, I do everything. Can you do something on our Deep Space Nine podcast?
I actually do stuff. I just like to pretend like I don't. But stuff is done.
I'm sure you do. I
design graphics. I put up with Davin's constant messages every day.
Well, yeah.
Not every day, actually. He's gotten better. There was a period where it was like every day there'd be like 10 messages. And then
there was a lot to get going off the ground in this thing.
That is true. But now we're a well-oiled machine, and we're firing on all cylinders, and a bunch of other allegories that we can use to describe how great this podcast is going. But I digress. So on to the start of the episode, in which we are still on Muir Island with Moira McTaggart. Moira McTaggart?
Moira McTaggart. I do not think so, Sean.
I did not do it, Sean. Charles is just so overwhelmed.
There's no one here, Charles. You're afraid of your dark side.
He's never been such a little bitch before.
Yeah. I saw somebody enjoyed that line that I cooked up a few episodes ago, and he was like, "He's never been a little bitch before."
He's just like, "I'm getting out of here, Moira Banshee." Man,
he's like, "Fuck yeah!" He gets super butthurt when she's like, "This is my boyfriend." He's like, "I gotta go to my room and convalesce."
Whatever.
It's not like I'm a 40-year-old super genius or anything. I'm just a little, childish man who's quickly gets over her and under an alien being that apparently he has some connection to. But anyway, we'll get to that. So Muir Island, Moira McTaggart and Banshee notice Professor X's room is on fire. Essentially, they're just hanging out on a rock and they're like, "Oh, Charlie's room is on fire," and it's like literally like light exploding out because Lalandra just teleported there. Xavier and Lalandra and Niramani try to fend off the Juggernaut, who is now there, has arrived. and is stealing Lilandra essentially. Xavier manages to launch a psychic attack because he indicates to Lilandra that she has like this little phaser looking thing, which actually does look a lot like a phaser, that she's trying to shoot Juggernaut with. That seems to have no effect. There you go. But Xavier sort of tells her that the helmet is his weakness. If you can get the helmet off, he can attack him psychically. His body is indestructible, but his mind can be influenced. So she manages to shoot the helmet off him. Charles manages to attack him. And to quote the
Don't make me mad, sweetheart.
yeah, I love how the gruffness of his voice. Don't make me mad, sweetheart.
My good tutor, brother.
Brother. Yeah, it's such I love
You. Oh, please, don't warn me.
he kind of reminds me of, do you guys remember Captain Planet? Like, did you watch that with anybody?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I loved.
What was the name of the sludge guy? He kind of has a similar voice. It kind of looked like a pig. He had like a pig nose and ears.
Was that Solomon
Uh,
Grundy?
Is that his name?
Could be.
Solomon Grundy. There was
The
Duke
DC
Nukem.
villain? Yeah.
There
There was not a Duke Nukem on that show.
There was. There
really?
was a Duke Nukem. They
Really?
took a lot of
Wow.
names. Oh yeah.
There's a lot of
Wow.
Star Trek actors in that show, including
Yes,
LeVar
and
Burton.
In Captain
Our
Planet.
world is in peril. You know. And,
Oh, right.
And
That's funny.
Whoopi Goldberg too was Gaia.
Right. Shit, they got everybody in there. Maybe it's a
Yeah.
prequel to Star Trek: The Next Generation. We didn't even
Maybe.
know it. They got Captain Planet like tied up. He's powering the ship. He's secretly what the lithium crystals are made of.
Yeah, not sustainable.
Harvested out of his body.
Could be.
I like this dark future we're building here.
Yeah, the Dark Phoenix saga.
Yeah.
The
So
Dr.
Xavier manages to
Captain
launch
Planet
an
universe.
attack. So then he's attacked from behind by Black Tom Cassidy, who's in the window with his. He has this little.
You've wasted
Dick.
enough time smashing around like a great beast. Now get the woman, and we can name our price.
Stick.
I gotta say,
Got my pimp cane.
when he's like, "Get on my head, Charles." I love the voice. Of those memes. Get on my head, Charles.
Give me a chance.
Don't you see how tight my suit is? Oh, so good.
Because when what's her name, Lilandra?
That's right.
Lilandra. When she shows up, she's wearing like a spacesuit, and then she when she takes the spacesuit off, she's like in a leotard or like some kind of dominatrix outfit or something.
Yeah. It's got a little spider symbol on the over the cleavage there, which
I was
they have
kinda like,
spiders on the Sierra World.
She get a whip, Charles. I kept wondering, or something here.
Yeah,
I guess
yeah.
Juggernaut.
Maybe it's like a strange dominatrix relationship that's like she does acknowledge that they believe that people connect mentally and it's a stronger bond than love even. So like maybe she already knows what Charles is into and she came prepared.
So likely.
Yeah, it was just like I'm like, is this the way she always dresses? Okay.
They've been connected since birth.
That'd be great if that really was something like Charles really is into being like dominated by like that'd be he's such a powerful mental character. It'd be very interesting to have one of his like things be that he's into that sexually.
Yeah, I wonder what his safe word is.
I think yeah, I do wonder. All right, listeners out there, you let us know what you think Charles Xavier's safe word would be. I think it would have to be like something, I don't know.
Savage Land.
Savage Land. Magnus. Eric
Magnus.
Lyncher.
I know what it would be.
Phoenix. Now we are one.
That's a pretty long.
It would be
that's
Phoenix.
way too long.
No, just
Well,
Phoenix.
That would stop the action pretty quick, I guess. But anyway, so Black Tom comes in, blasts him with his pimp cane. And then says that he and Juggernaut are there to kidnap Lilandra, and Xavier basically Juggernaut picks up Xavier and just like bye and throws him out a window. He's like, bye, Felicia. And so Xavier sort of falls out the window. That comes way later. Don't get ahead of us. Jesus,
Whoops.
that's at the end. My God,
Black
man.
Tom. That's what which one?
Yeah, so he throws him out. Look at that jawline. Look at that strong, handsome jawline.
He's a handsome man.
He's got a rather pointy jaw, that's for sure. And he's a ginger, so you have to appreciate that too. As a semi-ginger myself, my hair was not red, but my beard came in that way.
So
I will
Yeah,
acknowledge
my
it.
beard as well.
I have
So yes. Oh, stop, go away. All right. So so they just throw Charles out the window and go off on their jolly way. Xavier continues to follow until Banshee catches him using his ridiculous scream. Do you have a soundbite of this?
Oh yeah.
Let's hear this, Agent. Talk about the most annoying power in the history of X-Men. Like, anytime you want to do anything, fight, fly, do anything at all, you got to shriek like, in quotes, a banshee to do anything. And it's the most annoying power. This may have to be one of, if not the most annoying power in the history of the X-Men universe.
That's another thing I love about the X-Men, though, because like the Avengers powers, they all work. But like the X-Men, there's often downsides to their powers. Rogue's a great example, of course. But Banshees, you're right, is just one of the worst ones. Like you just want to fly somewhere, and you're just like you want to take someone with you, and of course they'll just shatter their ear. Like,
like all the windows shatter the house. Your wife's like, honey, can you just reach that? Can you fly up and reach the dust the top of that? And he's like, and like just shatters every glass and window, kills the cat, like just flies out.
Let's
like,
fly to Paris, Moira. Oh fuck! I blew up the Eiffel Tower.
We won't be putting you on the stealth team.
When he gets there, he just looks and she's dead. There's blood coming out of her ears. Like, oh, no. No.
What does Wolverine say to him? Like after he carries Wolverine to like the fight at the castle.
You have that exact quote there, Davin, because I have it to read if you don't have it.
So.
What one?
When he's carrying Wolverine later.
And Wolverine says,
Wolverine says, with a mouth like yours, we should have just tried to sneak in here with a marching band.
Yeah.
I do have that one.
You think that's bad? You should hear me sing.
Yeah. I was like, that's a good comeback.
I know what Charles' safe word is. It's the Macron crystal. Macron crystal is the safe word.
Yeah.
We should have like a Pee Wee Herman style word that is a secret word for every episode. When it comes up, we just go and like lights flash and that sort of and the couch screams. Everything gets insane. All right, so the Banshee flies by after seeing the fire. He screams over, grabs Charles, takes him to safety. Basically, back in the hospital, Xavier tries to persuade Moira and Banshee that he's not insane and that Lalandra actually exists. Which is a fun little scene where they're like, "No, you're just crazy, Charles," and he's like, "No, he exists. I swear to God."
Yeah, like this was a little bit far fetched. I thought that like the room's destroyed. Clearly, like there's been a battle there.
Well, I think it might be his dark side that came out in the previous episode.
But yeah, I guess. But like in that episode, he wasn't real. He couldn't really do anything. Like,
no, he did damage. He did some stuff, didn't he?
He got other people to damage.
He tried to like manipulate the X-Men into hurting themselves, essentially.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't think. Yeah, but I thought he actually did shoot beams and blow up some stuff. No, I think you might be right. You're right. Yeah.
Like, because there's like later on, like Jean Grey, when she comes out of her Phoenix coma, she's like, "Oh, it's all in your head, Cyclops. Don't worry about it," or whatever, right?
Yeah. But also, I mean, I don't know how much Moira McTaggart knows about what goes on with the X-Men's various comings and goings, but I don't think it's out of the realm of experience with everything they've encountered in the past to accept that perhaps an alien exists. Like they went to a Mojo world, for God's sakes, another dimension. Like we know other dimensions and aliens from those dimensions exist. Why can't one come to Earth?
I mean, it must just be because they're questioning his mental faculties at that moment.
I guess because he went crazy in the Dark Shroud episode, which is all connected to this anyway. But
and he's being all prissy with Moira and Sean.
Yeah, he's all angry. He's butthurt that she's moved on. Well, he's working on that side alien piece.
Yeah, and what's the timeline here? Just because I'm trying to understand, how old is Professor X supposed to be? How old is Moira? And when did they break up?
She's in her 40s. He's probably like 50.
He's older than her. Okay, and they broke up X amount of years ago.
Well, they didn't seem to be together before when she was in season 1 with the Cure episode. So
no, this was many years ago when they were younger, when they were together. Yeah. It's like a long lost.
It's been a long. So they've
been friends and colleagues for like probably decades since.
Okay, so the fact that he's all like weird around Banshee is kind of
noticeable.
Yeah. And to us as well here. Because I was just like, get over it, Charles. You're better than this.
You're a grown ass man, Charles. Come on.
Well, I mean, that's why she was all like,
silly bitch.
Silly bitch. Yeah. The memes. I mean, I don't know if we should explain this. People have to know, right? About the Juggernaut bitch memes. They have to know. If you're listening to this, if you're listening to this, you have to know where people or a couple of folks had recut this episode and put their own dialogue over it. These are all these clips that Davin is playing, which sort of dub over the Juggernaut and have this funny dialogue. And some of it is fucking hilarious, I must say.
Some of it is very hilarious.
See how tight my suit is. His pit cane,
which inevitably gave us this.
Don't you know who I am? I'm the Juggernaut, bitch!
Yeah, because that's what it needed. That's what a terrible fucking movie needed, was a
meme.
Like an internet meme quote, just ham-fisted in the middle of it for no reason
You
whatsoever.
think that's the first movie to throw a meme directly in? That was a long time ago.
Yeah, I mean, meme culture certainly wasn't as big as it is now.
I thought that they took it from the movie. I didn't realize that this thing came first.
Oh yeah, the X-Men: The Last Stand was like what, 2005 or 6 or something.
Yeah, this thing's like early YouTube.
Yeah, this is before that.
Like it was YouTube.
But it's funny. Watch it. It's definitely worth a watch.
Yeah, check it out if you haven't seen it. So
I'm the Juggernaut.
Just like all the little fight and the little I just love the "Can you hear me? These Jamaican colors" and all that sort of stuff. The Bret Hart stuff is funny. The get on my head, Charles, and he's just yelling. The voice is so funny. I don't know. It really captured the magical early internet memedom before it really blew up and everything became a joke. At one point, this was kind of its own thing for a while, and it was really fun. So then Cyclops is at the hospital. Jean Grey. She, I think, does Charles reach out to them psychically?
No, we don't see it. It's just like Wolverine shows up and says, "Professor X needs our help," or "Chuck needs our help," or something like that.
I
think it's actually Lilandra that reaches out to her, maybe. Because Lilandra's.
I think you might be right.
About what tells her about. She calls for the Phoenix. She calls for I believe, Lilandra.
No, I'm just looking at the transcript here. Wolverine just kind of shows up at the hospital and says, "Listen, the professor just called from your island. He says an alien transporter down to him.
Right,
was kidnapped by Juggernaut. Okay, so he wants us to go there."
Yep, thank you. That makes sense. So then Jean basically bursts into flames and becomes announced that her and the Phoenix Force are one. So reluctantly, Cyclops, of course, joins the group because he doesn't think she should go do all this because she's
Phoenix. Now we are one.
She is Venom. Now we talk as.
I wonder how many times Jean faints in this show.
Oh, it's a lot. We should start a drinking game. Every time Jean faints, take a drink. Every time Wolverine says something funny, take a drink.
Well, what I thought was interesting too about this scene was that Wolverine's like, "We need to go back up the professor," and while Cyclops is like, he doesn't want to leave Jean while she's still in this coma or whatever. Storm is the doubter. Storm's like, Moira said it's probably just his dark side or something, and Wolverine's like, no, we should check it out. And Cyclops then agrees with him, and everyone's like, what? Cyclops and Wolverine agree? What the hell?
How do you explain this doubting of your beloved Storm, Devin?
I think Storm was being the rational one. These guys and all their crazy
Storm could be like,
talk.
We should annihilate the human race and turn them all into weird meat puppets that we will have on display, and then melt and then kill every endangered animal on Earth. And you'd be like, yes, I agree. Storm is correct. This is the right way to go. She's right. Let's eat the last white rhino. And then you're like, yes, let's do that, Storm.
Who am I to question a goddess?
If you could make any character in this show a live person, would it be Storm for you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's what the world needs, man. What's got to go away, these things? Anyway, there we go.
I mean, I feel... Dave, if you could make any character on the X-Men animated show a real living person, who would it be?
Wolverine.
Really?
You just want a murderer running around with claws.
I don't think he really... I think you got to pick someone that could actually help the world at large. I don't know if Wolverine
Storm.
would do that. Yeah,
Storm is the right answer.
That's true.
No,
what are you going to do, pick Cyclops?
What you gonna do? No,
he's a good leader. I'd pick no, I wouldn't pick Cyclops. He's a good leader. The world could use a good leader. I'd vote for him. He'd be not my president. Hashtag. But
I think somebody like who could live that long, like Wolverine, like with the healing factor and stuff, I think is more interesting.
Maybe
like,
he uses blood to cure cancer or something.
Maybe. Yeah, you just cure death even. Like it's like con blood.
That'd be cool.
Benedict Cumberbatch style.
That's right. No, tribbles are what saved everybody in that movie, if you recall correctly.
Well, he gave it to the dead Tribble first, and then, so
Is that a hero click of a pile of tribbles?
Yep.
Yeah, they've really made hero clicks of everything, haven't they?
Oh, not DS9.
I used to have one of Harry Knowles from Ain't It Cool News. So yes, I guess they used to make hero clicks of everything. So yes, in Ireland, Juggernaut and Black Tom. Yeah, I love how Ireland and Scotland are like interchangeable as far as like they just like take her and then go right to Ireland. I know they're kind of close, but it's like they are close, but it's just like we'll just hop and skip over to Ireland, where they meet up with Eric the Red, who would essentially had hired them, and as to how these channels connected, how Eric the Red knew he could contact Black Tom Cassidy and Juggernaut, and even how Juggernaut and Black Tom Cassidy know each other. We don't know. But apparently, somehow, somewhere, if you had read the comic book or went to the secret website, you would get this information. But at this point, he has hired them to go get Lilandra. He's going to renege on the bet here and use his little space minions, the astronauts that are being mind controlled, to shoot at them. They very quickly dispatch them because the Juggernaut is the Juggernaut, of course. And then he has sort of shown that they're powerful.
You can't blame yourself. You were out on a mission. You can't be everywhere at once.
What the fuck is that from?
That's from a little earlier in the episode. Yeah.
I wanted to get that in there because it's the only Gambit clip I have.
Oh, I like how
and
totally relevant to what I'm discussing. Thank you.
Sorry, but we skipped over it, and it's
what?
That's like it's Rogue's finally back. Like, we were talking about like Rogue
right,
not in this season at all, and then she shows up, and
Rogue.
he's just like, "Shay, and they keep talking about her secret mission."
Which we'll probably never see. That's a side thing on the website you got to go to. It's a web series.
What was Rogue's secret mission?
Was she A, shopping for shoes, B, fighting off Deathlock, or C, in the future?
Doing something with sugar.
Just called from your island. There's an alien transported down to him, but was kidnapped by Juggernaut. He wants us to go there to help.
That's a hell of a conversation.
I know, like that's the craziest thing. Like, who would come up and say those two sentences to you? That's just,
he's like, "Hey, Wolverine, I've been attacked by Juggernaut. And there's
aliens,
alien princess,
and you got to come here and bring the X-Men." And
that's a lot of information to drop on someone. I guess the X-Men would be surprised the aliens exist at this point. But it reminds me, I had this conversation the other day, and this is sort of a little tirade, but about Michael Bay's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle movies, the second one, where like Shredder gets teleported out of like. They're taking him to prison. He teleports away and then appears in another dimension where an alien is in front of him, a giant brain that's talking to him. And at no point does he bat an eye or even act surprised or disturbed that he's in another dimension or that alien life exists. This alien's just like, "I want you to help me destroy the universe." And he's like, "What do you want me to do?" Like, he's just like, it's not even does he bat an eye or flinch or nothing.
Shredder's a stone cold killer.
I guess so.
I think this is what you were actually talking about.
I don't haggle with grunts like you. Pay the man.
Yes.
Juggernaut comes behind, picks you up like that.
Eric is compelled to pay them their fee, which he says he will do now that he has been physically assaulted.
And squeezed by the Juggernaut. And it's a heck of a
Charles
squeeze the money out through your ears.
That's a lot of crack.
A lot of crap. They do say so. Then she's being kept tied up in a chair while they're waiting for, I guess, whatever. I'm guessing to Ken to arrive. So they tie her up to a chair back in the castle keep. Charles Xavier reaches out to her when the rest of the X-Men arrive to try to find out where she is, and she sees the crest on the wall, which Banshee immediately recognizes as his family, the Cassidy family crest. So then they travel to Ireland to rescue Lilandra and begin a big fight with Black Tom, Juggernaut, and Eric the Red.
I saw a stag and a dragon.
I like when families...
A stag fighting a dragon is the Cassidy family crest. My family. It's carved in stone above the hearth in the Great Hall of Cassidy Keep.
The Celtic music underlying that is really fun. But I also really like when for the reasons of plot, in quotes, that thing like the family crest is like a gold dragon that's obviously Banshee fighting like a black serpent, which is obviously Black Tom. You know what I mean? Like it just works out well that like somewhere down the lineage, it's just the crest itself is going to take a
very Game of Thrones.
Actual, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that was one of my.
Those two would fit. Oh, well, save it.
You can save it. So then they travel off. They get in a big battle with everybody. While the fight is happening, Lilandra manages to free herself. The fight makes it to the rooftop of the building. There's some great scenes where Rogue punches Juggernaut right through a bunch of walls and kind of puts him right in the middle one. I also liked it now that I like in these big episodes when all the X-Men are around, whenever you get a new X-Man, you lose another. Because we got Rogue, we lost Beast for this episode. He's off working with that scientist guy to try to figure out what's going on with whatever they found in space. That device, the mind control device. You always gotta bench somebody when you bring in somebody else. That's a hell of a collar on Banshee, I gotta say.
It's too big of a collar.
That's a large collar. It's a big collar.
I feel like if they just taper the collar, and I don't like the stripes on the under thing, but
well, I feel
like the Jamaican colors.
The Irish flag isn't it yellow, orange, and white? Or
it's green, white, and orange.
Green, white. What is? What, so Jamaican colors?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's why
the Jamaican flag is yellow, green, and black.
No, that is true. But he is Irish, so I'm not saying his costumes colors need to reflect his hair, his country of origin. But it's yellow and black and green. I mean, you can throw some orange in there. I don't know. Make him.
It's his hair, his orange locks.
Oh, the orange locks. Oh, the bunny orange locks.
That's what Moira loves about me.
The Emerald Isle. Oh, Tula Lord.
Mouth like yours. We should have just tried to sneak in here with a marching band.
If you think that's bad, you should hear me sing.
I love his Irish lilt. If you think that's bad, you should hear me sing.
I'll sing some U2 for you.
He's a country music fan in the comics.
Where the streets have no need. All right, so
he'd be singing some Johnny Cash. He'd just be there.
Coincidentally enough, a little film I did just debuted today, in which I was Irish in it, so I had to do an Irish accent the whole time. So it's kind of funny this has come up at this time.
I tried to watch it, but it was behind a paywall.
It's only $1.99 for a month. Oh. You cheap bastard! Buy the first, pay the membership for a month, and then discontinue it if you want.
Somebody's here is new to streaming services. I obviously have to wait till all the episodes are on there. So that
actually, there is. This is like a pilot, so if it does well, there may be more episodes, but this is it. So you have to watch this in order for them to see that enough people watch it for you to do more. But anyway, it's on Swear. Just a quick little plug. It's on swearnet.com, which is the Trailer Park Boys, if you know who they are. It's a streaming service, and it's called Turnbuckles. It's a fun show. I play an Irish gangster.
Is it wrestling related?
It is actually. It's a old like an old retired wrestler has a bar and owes money to the Irish mob and decides to make money by letting people that have grievances duke it out in a wrestling ring. So he sets one up in his bar and goes off from there. So I'm the Irish mob that he owes money to, and of course it accumulates in a big old brawl, which is fun. So yeah, it's a fun
snatch vibes from the description.
Kind of. A brouhaha, if you will.
Little mollywoppery is your Irish.
I had to get into the Irish accent. And a lot of it was just saying Philly D potatoes to myself to get the lilt correct.
For the Cassidy family honor.
The Cassidy family keep. You should hear me sing. So the laundromat for yourself, yes, you got to that. Then all of a sudden we get this mysterious figure coming in from space. You just see the gloves. And there's actually a really cool scene where you see his point of view as he's coming in, and you see like a far off planet getting closer. It's a really neat little piece of animation where things get closer, and it's kind of you don't really see that even in the live action, maybe on Dragon Ball Z, but like or on the animated side, but like in live action, you don't see even in Superman movies, you don't really get that sort of like it'd probably be in a live action format, a really hard thing to film, but like a straight on view of from space going straight down to a point in the earth, which is pretty cool. Especially for, a rudimentary, well, I mean, the animation of the show is pretty great, but at the time period, the they were kind of limited to what was available at that time period. So we didn't have technology we have now to do some things digitally. But it actually is an impressive piece of traditional animation. So, we see this figure arriving. It's we quickly learn that it's Gladiator. Do you have Eric the Red's dialogue in which Gladiator arrives here? I can read it if you don't.
I don't think I do.
All right, so Gladiator appears, who is is this big purple man with a giant mohawk and the leader of the Shi'ar Praetorian Guard. So Eric says, Gladiator, it's an honor to welcome the leader of the Emperor's Praetorian Guard. He kind of bows. And I believe he calls him by his Shi'ar name, which I can't remember. Do you remember what that is offhand?
Shakari.
And he says that on this planet he's known as Eric the Red. And but anyway, he says then Gladiator immediately says, you have no honor. Your bungling has displeased the Emperor. You were ordered to have the Landra and the crystal in your possession to greet the Emperor. He comes soon. Why aren't they ready? Eric says,
that was
all
my
business.
Your bungling has displeased the Emperor.
Right off the get-go. He's like, I have Lilandra. And then he's like, but where is the Macran?
Yeah, where's the Emgron crystal?
This is bungling if I ever saw
half a
it.
job.
This is
there's one other line we skipped, and I just want to get your thoughts on it.
Gambit, teach you some respect for a lady.
That one?
Teach you some respect to a lady or for a lady?
For a
respect
lady.
Yeah. Gambit has a lot of respect for the ladies.
When he's kissing them in their sleep. Come on now.
Oh, what?
He's not the X-Man to be teaching those lessons.
Come on. Listen, I'm as woke as the next fella, but I think in the context of that particular episode, when Morph was pretending to be Rogue.
Yeah, Morph like, hey, like meet me in the room and whatever.
Yeah.
He left Belladonna at the altar. Come on now.
She was insane. We all knew that.
She was insane.
Craig, you don't put listen, the older you get, you learn a powerful lesson. You don't put your dick in crazy. Gambit learned it early. He got the fuck out of there. He's a smart man.
Yeah.
All right. So, then Lilandra says to Gladiator, you are a warrior of honor. Why do you serve a madman like my brother? To which Gladiator says, Princess, I serve the imperial throne of the Shi'ar, and Deken sits on the throne. So we learn that, Gladiator may be a righteous guy. In the comics, he is a decent dude. But at this point, he's trying to serve as king. And that means getting her. So, Juggernaut comes in to try to, overcome Gladiator and finish their mission. To which Gladiator basically just picks him up and tosses him like nothing into the air, way off into the distance.
Through all the buildings across the harbor, just like he's
literally gone, like all the way over to Scotland. He's
threw
like,
him to Scotland.
Yeah, basically. He's like, and he's like, in the meme, he's like, I'm the Juggernaut. Yep. He was flying away. To which Jubilee says, whoa, I didn't think anybody could do that to the Juggernaut. And Gambit says, nobody from Earth, which is a nice little line.
I didn't think anybody could do that to Juggernaut.
Nobody from Earth.
Yeah, which is a nice little line. Then
do it.
Maybe somebody from Earth could. I don't know. We haven't met it.
Then the Phoenix arrives and basically fucks up Gladiator, sending him into space and saving everybody. Shooting him way off into space.
The power of Phoenix.
And basically, it's a neat little power differential show here because you see Juggernaut, who we know is unstoppable in this crazy monster, and then Gladiator shows up and dispatches him like he's nothing. Basically, just tosses him away like nothing, and then Phoenix comes out and just blasts him into space, like in a Dragon Ball Z type blast into space, where he's like full of purple energy and he's gone.
Yeah.
Like you see him going past the sun, like he's out of the solar system, like he's gone, which is interesting.
Yep. It was great.
So they send him off his way. And as he's traveling through space, he kind of eventually stops himself and seems like he's going to right himself to come back to Earth to go back after them. But when he does, conveniently, he lands right beside where a wormhole opens and Deken's army comes out, establishing that Deken is now here and that he's heading towards Earth in a spaceship. So things are ramping up. And that's the end of it.
I can feel its power.
And we get
okay. So next question: who's got the better laugh, Deken or Sinister?
Sinister.
They're so epic. Okay, Sinister's laugh is fantastic, but Deken's pretty.
That's
good.
a bit of a superfluous laugh. I get the the crystal is here, but at any point in your life, no matter I get it's dramatic. It's used for, it's a story thing. We use it for, but at any point in your life, has something ever gone well enough for you that you've laughed? You know what I mean? Like, short of like the, aha, we did it or something. But like, if you're like, yes, my Amazon package has arrived now. it's such a tired trope but it's still, I don't know.
I would like to. I would like to break out
find that much joy
maniacal laughter sometimes. Yeah.
Not quite there
But
yet.
no, haven't, but something to hope for. All right, so
Each of us will have to look into his own heart and decide.
your heart and decide, fellas. Ratings from 1 to X. Who would like to go first? I'll go first. I gave this one a 9. Maybe close to a 10, but I stopped with a 9. There was some good humor there. Like Dave mentioned earlier, just like a ton happens, and same with this episode, just a ton keeps happening. But this episode, to me, more so than the previous two, I don't think I gave either of those as high one as a 9. It had more of a complete idea, which was just this, as you mentioned with the Dragon Ball thing, just this constant upping of the ante, where it's like Gambit's like, no one can stop the Juggernaut, like none of us, or like no Rogue or somebody says just like none of all of us X-Men together can't fight the Juggernaut. So they established Juggernaut as this unstoppable thing, and then of course he just gets schooled by Gladiator, and then not a minute later Gladiator gets schooled by the Phoenix. I thought that was hilarious. That worked for an episode for me. Could have gave it a 10, but I'll stick with 9.
I'm going to agree with you. I think it's a 9. It's a very fun episode, and it throws a lot at you, but in the context of the overarching story we got, it's pretty great. This is the longest continuous storyline we have had in the series so far. They've only been 2 parters up to this point now. I mean, there's a whole overarching story last season with Charles and Xavier running around the Savage Land, but it wasn't like a continuing every piece going into the next one. That was just sort of a side thing that we got at the end, like a stinger.
That was like a slapstick comedy. That's them running around a rock, getting away from a T-Rex.
For the most part, and but they, So this, I think they're holding the line pretty good on this. Now that we're getting to the point that the Shi'ar Empire is showing up, we got the Phoenix. Juggernaut was nice to have back. I really dug it. I thought it was really fun. I mean, the meme alone is worth giving this an extra point or two. It's very, very good. So, I'm going to stick with a 9 as well.
It had cultural longevity, this episode.
It sure did.
Yeah, like I would say that for me, like this was my favorite of the 3 Phoenix Saga episodes so far.
Agreed.
And so I would go 9.5.
Well, we don't do halves here.
No halves?
No halves.
You have to
I'll go 10.
Be a man of conviction.
I'll go 10.
Oh,
there it is. There you have it.
You stand against it.
It feels good, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Come out and do it. 10.
Right.
It's just like when you come on the Enterprise podcast and you're like the high rated. Everyone's like, this was a shit episode. Like, no, this was a glorious episode. What are you talking about?
Yeah, well, I wasn't too high on the last one.
No, me either. No, I was the low point for the one we covered yesterday.
It was unwatchable.
Which was Precious Cargo.
Yeah, not a good Enterprise episode, and I'm an Enterprise defender. All right, well, those are our ratings from 1 to X. Very high on this episode we are. So, what's next on the docket? Uncanny X points. Andre, would you like to go? No, you know what? How about our guest goes first?
Wow.
All right.
Wow.
So like my X points.
Take it away. Give it. I give it. I take it away.
You get the good Davin giveth, and the good Davin taketh away.
I will take it. The crest, like the whole thing, that I even like last week when I watched this the first go, I was like, oh, like a stag and a dragon, very Game of Thrones. The fact that this is the keep, and like I guess the Song of Ice and Fire books came out, or like the first one would have come out around this time. And I got to wonder if there was any influence on their inclusion of this here. I was also found it just interesting that it's a dragon, which is like the Targaryen like mascot or sigil in Game of Thrones, and a stag, which is the Baratheons, was interesting as well, because they're kind of like two of the most important families in that show or in that book series. So, and then the second one was.
It was Banshee, like a Lannister, and Black Tom is like the Ironborn or something.
He was like, yeah, he was kind of like an Ironborn.
Greyjoy?
Greyjoy.
All right, you want to go next, Devin? You want me to?
Grey Tom.
Grey Tom. Grey Tom.
Grey Tom of the Ironborn.
I want to go with my next one before I forget. So this episode gave me an interesting. I watched this last week and it was Tuesday, and I think what happened Monday? I was somewhere. I was doing auditions for the play that I'm in, and so I was up late and going through stuff, and I slept in. So I woke up and I had the week off work, so I was going through my tablet watching it in bed when I woke up in the morning, and there's something flashed in the middle of a scene that caught my eye, and I had to keep going back trying to get it to stop. Did you put it in your list? I sent it to you, Devin. Did you forget?
Oh, what's that now?
That image I sent you and asked you to put in here last week.
Crap.
It's okay if you didn't. That's fine. So there's a scene that shows Wolverine, and then something yellow very quickly flashes on the screen and then flashes away. And I kept trying to get it back so I could stop right on that frame, but I couldn't quite get it. But I looked it up, and I guess it's a fairly famous goof they made in this episode. We're right at the 16:04 mark, if you watch the episode, when Wolverine gets frozen by the stick there. There's a single frame that flashes that says, "Cut out these frames." So it's an animation thing they stuck over that was supposed to be cut out that an animator missed. It's when you're watching it, you can't miss it. It's a quick yellow flash. And if you manage to pause it, you can look it up online. They show you the still. It just says, you can see the cutout these frames is see-through, like it's a yellow overlay, so you can see Wolverine through the lettering. But it does say cut out these frames, which is something the animators have missed. Yeah, so it's a fun little goof.
That is a good one. All right. Well, mine's a bit of a twisted tale as well. So, Gladiator the voice actor is uncredited. And in fact, two people voice Gladiator, and one is thought to be Richard Epcar, a Canadian actor. But the first one that they hired was an American actor. And American actors get continuing royalties, whereas Canadian actors don't, at least in those days. So the reason the voice cast on this show was primarily Canadian was to save a lot of money going forward. And so this, you know what? Now it's part of the same point, which leads me to the fact that there were three actresses, not just Alison Seeley Smith, that did the voice of Storm. First Storm voice actress was an American, but she was also a white voice actress, and they didn't think that would go over well. They were ahead of their time in their thinking on this show for the most prominent black character on the show. So they replaced her with Iona Morris, another American actress. But again, they realized that they would have to give her royalties ongoing. So they again replaced her with Alison Seeley Smith. Don't have to pay going forward, I guess. But I don't know. Some of that stuff got fixed retroactively, but who knows? So that's pretty funny. So they uncredited them both for the Gladiator because they didn't want to credit the American guy because then they'd have to pay him. And the same with Iona Morris. Like, she'd voiced episodes, and then on first airing, it was her voice, but they replaced it for all the reruns. And any of the video productions, so it's out there in the ether. I mean,
and how ironic is Canadians have a royal family and we don't get any royalties.
Who's Canada's royal family? Is it us? Is it the House Savoy?
It's it's actually the House of Windsor.
Oh well,
the British.
No,
should be us.
You colonialist bastards.
Should be us.
It should be us for sure. Don't turn your back on the monarch.
All right, that was my first one. Back to you, Dave.
Okay. So, well, I kind of already touched on this, but Sean Cassidy, the new man, and the fact that Moira says, I don't know, Sean. I think I'm his only friend sometimes, you know. And I'm just like, what?
That's sad. That's
Professor
sad.
X is just sad and pathetic.
I'm like, this is a sad man. Like his best friends are Moira, who he doesn't really talk to, I think, unless he really needs help, and then Eric Lenscher, who at best he's got a dubious relationship with.
Yeah. So his former best friend's his mortal enemy. His only person he talks to is an ex-girlfriend, and he surrounds himself with child soldiers he creates.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wolverine's just not a child soldier.
Sounding better and better.
Right. Like I'm trying to like think like who's like more like have you guys seen the Umbrella Academy?
Of course, I haven't seen the new season yet because they keep putting out new shows ahead of it that I need to watch.
Yeah, it's really good, the new season, by the way. But like just like the dad, like the Reg Hargreaves in that show, you know, he's kind of
a Canadian actor.
Yeah, that's right. And but kind of a Professor X character.
Did you say Colm Feore?
Colm Feore, yeah.
Oh man, Bon Cop, Bad Cop. If you haven't seen that, go watch it.
Yeah, he played Trudeau too, I think, in something else.
He also played the ice giant in Thor. He's been in a million things. He's all over the place.
But like that characterization, that Hargreaves, like that Reg Hargreaves character, I'm like, that's kind of what Professor X could be in like some interpretations. And I think we're eventually gonna get enough versions of like the X-Men that we'll get like a new spin. They kind of delved into that part of Professor X's character with the Patrick Stewart portrayals a little bit, especially in X3, which wasn't a very good movie.
Well, if you're looking for a darker version of Professor X, look no further than Nigel. What the hell's his last name? The leader of the Doom Patrol. You know, he's a very famous kind of darkly motivated version of Professor X that brings together all these people that get messed up in various accidents and have various powers to to become a super team. But in some instances, he caused some of their accidents to make sure that they got powers in certain ways, and depending on what continuity you follow. Grant Morrison's run did that. But the Doom Patrol is if you read Grant Morrison's run of the Doom Patrol, he's very much a dark. Niles Calder, he's very much a dark version of Professor X. He's in a wheelchair too, so you get that too.
There you go. Even more so, yeah.
He's played by Timothy Dalton on the TV show.
Well, and like Giancarlo Esposito recently said he wants to play Professor X, and I was like, that could like.
I haven't seen him in a lot of things, but I'm all for it.
Yeah.
You've seen Giancarlo Esposito. It's actually pronounced Esposito, which is weird because
he's different.
Yeah, he's Italian, not
Spanish.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because he was on Maron's podcast and he talked about it. But I mean, his characters generally tend to lean towards the evil. But it would be nice to see him do something that's not a bad
Xavier
character.
is sinister, like
a little bit, yeah.
Everyone loves Patrick Stewart.
Yeah, so he's getting a little long in the tooth.
Sometimes he wears a green suit with a big cape, and he goes like X-Men.
Yeah, I want to see that movie.
Sometimes
anyway, back to you, Andre.
Back to Andre. All right. Well, this episode is called "Cry of the Banshee," because for no real reason besides the fact there's a character in it called the Banshee. He doesn't do a whole lot, but he's there. And this title actually is the title of a 1970s British horror film. Starring Vincent Price. So I'm not sure if that's where they got the inspiration for the episode or not. It's very loosely based on an Edgar Allan Poe thing. Very loosely based in that there are no actual banshees in it at all. It's just ghosts. So the title has little to do with the storyline. But it's kind of a famous movie. The opening credits for it were done by Terry Gilliam. It's a Rob Zombie talked about it in his Hellblade Deluxe album. Quentin Tarantino showed at the film festival. It's and also the band. I never pronounced his name right. Cersei and the Banshees. I got their name from it as well. The
another Game of Thrones
British punk band. Yeah.
Right. Well, back to me. All right. I'm probably gonna catch some flack for this one, maybe.
Get my flack ready.
Gladiator, who Dave referred to as Superman earlier. Let me tell you why Gladiator is a better character than Superman.
Oh, okay.
Gladiator has a sweet mohawk. Gladiator is like Superman's powers, but with an actual interesting weakness that you can use as a story point.
He has to believe in himself.
Yeah, like confidence, man. That's a real thing. People are more powerful when they're more.
That's
confident.
his weakness. If he has lack of confidence.
Yeah, he's weaker when he's like. Yeah, so
the
if you
more
start
he
to
believes
get
in himself, the stronger he is.
So yeah, like just coming into school in the Juggernaut, he felt pretty good. But after
So
getting schooled by the Phoenix, he's probably a lot weaker.
Okay, but
So
that is
rather
a
than
deep
just a
weakness.
chunk of rock that anybody could get, like you know what I mean? It's just
Yes, but if you
it's
think
more
as a
interesting.
character, anybody with psychic powers at all could defeat him. Anybody
Well,
just make him.
weaknesses.
Assuming like if you wanted to write around that and
Now,
say
he has
like,
defenses against that.
if he's
natural
not
defense.
susceptible to mental like attacks or psychic attacks, like you could at least like make him feel sad and like hurt his feelings and go, you
What
know,
a stupid
He might
Mohawk,
just
you jerk.
punch you and feel good again. But anyway,
yeah. But they call him
and
Mr. Bad Hair
more
Day.
sparingly, and I think a powerful character like that is usually done best more sparingly than a big main title character like Superman. I'd like to see the big powerful, like even the Hulk. I like to see Hulk. I don't like to read Hulk books as much as I like to see Hulk show up in something else because then it's like way scarier. And things like that, like uber powerful characters. Same with like a Carol Danvers or like a Blue Marvel. Great characters that I love to read, but I like them in other things. Like the ultimate.
Like when they're on Earth, like I think that is the issue. Because Superman, like you don't need a Superman to stop a bank robbery, right? Somebody of that much power. But I guess in the grander scheme of space and like everything else, I think Gladiator and that power set does fit better in with that sort of world where he's like fighting spaceships or whatever he's doing. So yeah, I accept your argument there.
I accept your argument. It is valid.
Is valid,
Yeah.
cousin.
Thank you. Back to you, cousin.
Yes. The one thing speaking of which, when I was looking up Black Tom today, because I was not a character I really am familiar with that much, and this is something that only got me excited because I was like, oh, his name in the comic books is Thomas Samuel Eamon Cassidy. My son is named Eamon. And it's not a common name here in Canada, but in Ireland it's much more frequent. So I was like, oh, an Eamon. And every time I point out another Eamon to my son Eamon, he likes it. So
does it make him feel validated in the
I think a little bit.
He's like, all right, well, other people exist. My dad's not insane.
I mean, having to explain how to pronounce my name my entire life to everybody because you gave me this name. Thank you very much.
Thanks,
because
Dad.
everyone thinks it's Eamon.
A pain I know all too well.
He turns 18 and just changes his name to John.
He might.
Or
to
to
Sam.
Dad. Sam
Jerka. So.
Oh yeah. AKA
All right.
Sam Jerka.
I'm going to throw some knowledge at you for my next one. February 14th, 2006 is when Randy Hayes and Xavier Nazario of My Way Entertainment made their overdub of the X-Men animated series episode titled Phoenix Saga Part 3 Cry the Banshee and uploaded on their YouTube channel. Oh my goodness. You get a new kitten?
Yeah.
Is this to replace the other one?
Oh, no.
Coping mechanism. Yep.
You cannot replace kitties. You can just get new ones. What's his name?
That's Millie. Mildred.
Aw,
Millie Vanilli?
adorable. You should get another and name it Vanilli right now.
He was already named at the SPCA.
Oh, that's adorable, man. I'm so happy for you.
Yeah,
That's
she's
lovely.
sweet.
I'm sorry you lost a kitty, but at least you could give a new kitty a home.
Yeah, well, we had room for one more. So.
Yeah, awesome, man. So, that's just where that came from. It was taken down several times on YouTube, but keeps getting re-put up by other people. The video itself has accumulated over 8.8 million views.
Wow.
50,000 likes and 6,600 comments.
4 or 5 of those are me.
and it says just over 13 years, so this is a little behind with these numbers, so it's probably gone even higher. They have done sequels. They did another one called J2 Judgment Day, which uses footage from the Juggernaut Returns episode, and then another one called J3 Shadow of the Colossi on their website. So they're all on there, and they're all pretty fun. I mean, the first one is pretty much the best one, but check it out.
Give them some clicks because we use their sound clips.
That's right.
And okay, back to me. Okay, did you guys notice the highlights on Wolverine's T-shirt? How he's wearing like a black T-shirt, but
yes,
there would be a muscle. It's like orange.
Yep. Yeah.
What is this shirt?
Yeah, do I have a picture of this shirt?
It's a mood shirt.
I'm glad you brought this up because every time I've ever looked at this shirt, then and now, I'm like, what is this T-shirt he's wearing? And why does it
No, I
glow in the light like this? And if this was a real fabric, what would it look like?
I love the animation in the show. Like, even that clip you just showed of Banshee, like your clothes would have to be painted on to show the definition of your abs. Like it can't be a fabric. It's got to be just body paint. He's just like, "Oh, Myra, we have to get to the battle. Paint me up," and he just like paints on the colors.
Like you don't bust out of your unitard.
It's not a unitard. It's called a singlet.
What? No.
And no, I mean I don't have abs, but if I did, you wouldn't see it through the singlet.
All right, we got room for one more to make it an X. You got anything, Andre, Dave, or should I jump in here?
What's your favorite quote from the Juggernaut memes? Do you guys have one? I mean, Dave, you may not know it as well as the others.
I don't know, not as well as you guys do it. So
I might just maybe the one I opened the show with. I don't know. I find that one really funny.
Silly bitch.
No.
The fuck are you red-looking motherfucking mustard-looking?
Mustard-looking. Like I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, the Bret Hart glasses. The Bret Hart glasses.
Bret glasses are the Jamaican colors. I think it's.
You can't hear me.
I like this one.
Oh, she's fucking with my helmet.
Well, the one that is problematic in a whatever way, but I don't know why I find funny is like at one point Eric the Red's leaning over Lilandra and he goes, "I can either take it," which goes, "You can either give it willingly or I can take it."
No, that's Juggernaut who says that.
No, it's actually I watched it again. It's Eric.
I don't find that part funny. That one doesn't land for me.
It's just ridiculous, but it's like
But it shows how hardcore those videos do get.
Yeah,
like they get crazy. They don't hold back, those guys. I mean,
No,
it's funny in like the context of the whole thing, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
it's all just super inappropriate and ridiculous, and from a bygone era of memedom, but fun.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Would it land in the Me Too era? I don't
know. God no.
Nope.
But
I do warnings on Juggernaut episodes because Juggernaut episodes get a little crazy.
Oh, come on!
It's
Nobody watching this show as a kid. They're all sad adult nerds like us, looking to hold on to that grim little piece of their childhood before it slips away.
You've had way different interactions with our audience tonight.
Until it slips away.
Very happy and delightful.
Dementia. No, I'm kidding.
They just unload all their existential dread on Andre.
No, Andre is full of that. But no, I do like that we celebrate this sort of a mutual love for something that influenced us as kids. As much as I like to pretend to be the curmudgeon, I am a rather happy person.
Yeah.
Hey, check this out.
Hey, check this out. This is our reminiscences and recommendations segment.
All right.
I usually go first because I have the X-Men connections usually. Choices. So go at the bottom there. All right. So I have a few things actually. So first, because I'm catching up on comic recommendations for some of the MCU properties that have been coming out, and I did between the last episode and this one finally see Thor: Love and Thunder. So. Loved it, by the way. I don't know, understand.
You loved it?
Yeah, I loved it.
Based on Dave's tone, I don't think he did.
It's probably my second favorite Thor movie. I liked it a lot.
It was maybe my third favorite Thor movie. Yeah.
I'm gonna guess the Dark World's.
It could have been longer. I would have watched it for an hour longer. So because
I would have liked them see. I would like them
both. I would
like to see them flesh out more stuff, but. I enjoyed it.
Anyway.
It was fine. I didn't hate it by any means. Love and Thunder. I thought that there was some different choices I would have made though.
Jason Aaron, Esad Ribic, Thor: God of Thunder. Read it.
My only complaint.
Yeah,
it is really good. That is really good content.
Gore was my favorite new villain in probably a decade when he came out.
I would have liked to see more attention paid to him. Basically, is my biggest complaint about that movie. Also, I find it kind of like
everything.
Like they have like an ice cream place that's kind of themed after the Infinity Gauntlet, and I feel like if half of the universe is blipped out for 5 years because of it, you probably wouldn't make a joke of it of your ice cream chain store.
Yeah,
I know. I know it's for comedy, but like, you know, it's funny because you get that two-fisted, like in the Doctor Strange, you see like his old doctor rival being like, yeah, my brother died and I lost my cat when I was missing for 5 years. And it's sad. It's like his life is tragic and sad. And then like on Norse Island, where like, you know, Loki and a bunch of other Asgardians got killed by Thanos. They're like, hey, let's make an ice cream place based around his weapon.
He used to kill half of us.
Yeah, exactly.
So I got a few things to cram in here, though.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the third issue of the thing I've been following on this show here, we've been following X-Men 92, The House of 92. This is I haven't read it yet because I just picked it up today, so I'm going to talk about this more next week. But this is supposed to be the issue that adapts the Exo Swords event, which I really liked. It kind of fell off the rails, but I believe it was supposed to. It was a cool story. I liked it. There's a hero about it. Actually, it's out now, but I don't get mine until next week. But my main recommendation that ties into this episode here is Jonathan Hickman, Dawn of X era of X-Force. It's not written by him now. It's like what is it? Who writes this one? Teeny Howard. Who writes X-Force? Anyway, I'll figure that out. Oh, there we go. Benjamin Percy, of course. Art by Joshua Cassera. This team. So Black Tom's on this team. He's on this X-Force team. Nice. So if you want to see what Black Tom's all about, and especially in the modern era, they're really doing interesting stuff with this character because they all live on Koa, right? And he has plant powers, which I really noticed so much in this episode. But he can control wood and plants and that sort of thing.
So he can do more than just shoot a beam out of a stick.
It's kind of a cool power. I would have liked to see them play with that a little more because that is a cool.
Well, they certainly do in this, which is why I bring it up here. And it's a cool team. You got Quentin Quire, Colossus, Beast, Sage, Domino, Jean Grey, and Wolverine.
Who's that in the front? Who's in the green?
That's
green
Domino and Jean Grey. That's Jean Grey. That's her Marvel Girl outfit.
Oh, Jean Grey, Miss Marvel gear.
It's when they put her in the mini skirt. Every time they do it, there's like backlash. Some people love it, some people hate it. It's a little impractical for superhero fighting. It's not my favorite.
It doesn't bother me too much, but every once in a while, like especially
I like the mask that goes with it. Like
yeah,
the early 2000s, late 90s was the biggest offender for ridiculous costumes and female characters. I remember they made Sue Storm the 4 on her chest, just like see-through, not see-through, but like just right through to her skin. So
like her cleavage was
all the cleavage right through the 4 for no reason whatsoever. Like she's like, and her kids are on the team with her, and they're like, "Mom, cover up for God's sake."
Yeah, that was in that whole
Black
era.
Tom. Black Tom is sort of becoming something else because he's really tapped into Krakoa. He's like just the island security system because he's like tapped into Krakoa and he can sense anything that's going on it.
But he is a bad guy, right?
In the new era, everyone's sort of just let Apple or what's the word I'm looking for? They let bygones be bygones. Like no one's holding grudges anymore. They're all trying to get along because they realize they all have all mutants are because they all have the common goal of wanting to survive and want mutants to thrive. And they figured together and if somebody is too rowdy, they just throw them in a pit, like Sabretooth. Sabretooth's in a pit.
Sabretooth's in a pit.
He broke the rules like right away. They have like a few rules. One of them is kill no humans because they're like, if we're gonna do this island of mutants thing, we can't have mutants killing humans because then it's pretty easy to annihilate us sitting on this one lone island and we're all here. And like,
right.
And they're trying to have a good public face and that sort of thing. So Sabretooth's in a pit and with a few other characters like Mandy and Orphan Maker down there now. But yeah, X-Force is a run.
He's in a pit.
Weird stuff happens to Domino too. It's a weird one. Anyway, yeah. Check it out. Who's next? Andre.
I'm gonna suggest a couple things then. Not much. First one would be for a great Juggernaut story that is unrelated to the X-Men. I suggest the Spider-Man story by Roger Stern called "Who Can Stop the Juggernaut," in which Madam Web is, I believe, Black Tom is hired by someone who escapes me as to who to go capture Madam Web and sends the Juggernaut. Spider-Man basically has to try to stop the Juggernaut from in any which way he possibly can from getting to Madam Web. And it's a really great, when people put up like the top 10 Spider-Man stories of all time, it's usually in there. And usually it's related to how Spider-Man will not stop to do what's right, regardless of what he have danger to himself. And it's really interesting, fun little two-parter in which Spider-Man basically throws everything he possibly can at trying to stop the Juggernaut, who just constantly bats him away and keeps going towards his mission until Spider-Man eventually figures out a way to incapacitate him long enough to get Madam Web to safety. But it's a very interesting comic. It's very good. And as I normally suggest things that are not related to X-Men, because Davin usually gets that covered, I just read Jeff Lemire, who wrote Sweet Tooth most noticeably, and a lot of other great comics, his new book,
Essex County.
Essex County, which is a famous Canadian writer. He's written for DC and Marvel a lot in the past. He did the Thanos series. He has a new book or a new miniseries was just collected called May's Book, in which a father who lost his daughter at a young age and kind of given up on life. She is obsessed with mazes and puzzles. Basically, he's given clues that she might still be alive somewhere, and he has to follow a sort of a labyrinthian mission to get to her. It's really a meditation on grief, but it's beautiful. It's very well done, and I would like to see this made into a movie or something someday because it's really, really well done. But yes, I have that as well. Essex County. He's written a lot of really good books. The series Sweet Tooth on Netflix is based on his graphic novel series, which I highly suggest you read the books. The show's really good too. But
he had a cool like sci-fi 8-issue thing called Trillium.
Yep, Trillium. Yep, he did. Yeah, and he's done Ascender,
Underwater Welder.
Underwater Welder is very good.
Yeah, I read Descender.
Frogcatcher, I think, was one. Frogcatcher, and a bunch of other ones. But he does these sort of Mr. Nobody, and a few others. But yeah, he very fun, heartfelt books with a lot of emotion at their core. Beautiful stuff. So definitely check them out. You won't be disappointed.
Right on.
Dave, you got a suggestion of a comic?
Dave doesn't recommend comics. He's coming at us with something else.
Ooh.
Yeah, well, like I'll recommend things to you, but they're not really books per se. Not that I have anything against them. I just
not that I don't like
want to read them.
I just don't read them. I wait for them to be adapted into TV shows and movies and things like that, generally. But and I just don't go to the comic book store very much. But so guys, and I'll go. What are we watching? And so I mentioned the Umbrella Academy, which I'm sure you guys have read. I really love season 3. Jameel, a mutual friend of Davin and I's, he hated it.
Jameel's been on the show.
Oh, Jameel's been on this show, of course.
Jameel's the man.
Yeah, he didn't like it, but I don't know. So
Jameel didn't like it. Well, I don't think I'll watch it then.
Yeah, a couple other shows I would really recommend.
Andre loves Jameel.
I do love Jameel. He is the man.
If you haven't seen The Orville, I would really recommend.
I love it so much, and he will not watch it. I'm going to point at him. This way. He will not watch it.
Who will? Who won't?
So, you know what I was doing before I came on the show? I was working and watching the episode 8. I think it's so fucking good. It is what's
the newest season.
Still in it?
Who?
Seth MacFarlane's still in it?
Yes.
Yeah, he's the star of the show.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't have. There are very few episodes that really make him the center point. You know, every once in a while there is one, but I'd say there's maybe 1 or 2 per season. It's not like he's always front and center.
No, not at all. And like, if you watch like the pilot of The Orville and you didn't come back to it, really think about giving it another shot. Especially as it goes into season 2 and 3, this newest season. Some of the best.
People say it's reached some heights.
It's reached some heights, and I think worth checking out. They're standalone episodes mostly. Really recommend it. I hope they get a season 4. And yeah. And the other one I think is not championed enough is called For All Mankind, which is on you can get that on Apple TV. That's a show by Ronald.
The first episode or 2 of that.
Yeah, it's an alternate timeline where if the Soviets had landed on the moon first.
Oh yes, I have heard of this. It's supposed to be good.
It's Ronald D. Moore. A lot of the Star Trek writers from Star Trek Deep Space Nine are on this show, like David Weddle and a bunch of others. And so it's this whole other alternate history of the 20th century, but it's really, really good.
That stuff's cool. Like I never watched it, but I've heard good things about The Man in the High Castle, which is a similar kind of concept in which, the Nazis win the war?
Yeah, in Japan, Japan and the Nazis.
Yeah, based on, is it a Harlan Ellison book or is it Philip K. Dick? Philip K. Dick.
Sounds like Harlan Ellison.
I think it might be Dick. But anyway, yeah, it's one of those. So yeah, like I like that sort of stuff. I should definitely go back.
And what's really good about this For All Mankind compared to The Man in the High Castle, I think, is that it's more hopeful, like because it's more about like because it was kind of like Americans landed on the moon and then everyone lost interest in the space race basically, and because the Soviets do it in this timeline, space travel keeps advancing, so it's much further along by our point in history than it is in in the show.
Oh, you're saying the Soviets are ahead of us, comrade? Huh?
Yeah, exactly. Some competition does breed some good results sometimes. And yeah, and then the last show I will plug is called Better Call Saul, which if you're a Breaking Bad fan, it's just wrapping up. They got one episode left, and Better Call Saul also I think doesn't get enough praise out there, but it should.
It's just as good as Breaking Bad, if not like I'm not gonna say it's better. I don't want to go that far, but I love them both so much that not one isn't better than the other in my opinion. They're both so good.
And so complimentary, like
yes.
like I think
I am not caught up this season, but yes, it's from what I understand, it's very
it's a ride. Get ready.
I'm very excited. I've watched first episode and I really liked it. So
yeah, there's a lot to go. So anyway, those are those are my recommendations.
What the hell's going on?
We have some seagulls.
Well, keep the video style recommendations going. It's my VCR. With Andre.
Yeah, okay. So movies to recommend you watch. I think I did Nope already, didn't I, last time?
Mm-hmm.
I did, right? All right. So this one is one I've seen recently. I didn't expect.
Plus, you can't get that on VCR.
That is, you can't get any of these in VCR. So the movie I'm going to suggest, I've seen it a week ago. I would have been my recommendation. I remember planning for the last show that got canceled. So I'll throw it on you now. It's called Vengeance. I didn't expect to like it as much as I did. It's BJ Novak's new movie, in which he plays kind of a detached writer who has a former hookup of his winds up dead, and his family thinks she's from Texas. She died in Texas. He's in New York. The family thinks that they were boyfriend and girlfriend based on stuff that she had told them, apparently. So he ends up getting guilted into going to the funeral, even though he didn't really know this woman that well. They just hooked up a few times. And then decides to make a podcast based around it because her family thinks she was killed by someone else, and he tries to help them find out who did it. It does have a lot of the sort of signature BJ Novak office kind of humor, based around Texas life and the people from Texas. But the end will hit you right in the guts, and it does a really, really good job. And it sort of parodies a lot of these true crime podcasts that are out, and it's all the rage now. I believe his podcast is called Dead White Girl, which is funny because that's what these podcasts are about. But it's about him trying to make his mark by getting this big show off the ground by doing this podcast, and sort of capitalizing on these people in this area while trying to find. Essentially, he thinks the family's crazy, and he wants to do a podcast about this family that's trying to find some reason to put their grief with vengeance. But then he starts to realize they may be onto something. And it's very interesting. It's very well done. It actually has solidified to me that Ashton Kutcher is a really good actor, especially in this movie. I haven't seen much he's in besides that 70s show and I don't know, Butterfly Effect or whatever came up.
Dude, where's my car?
Yeah, I did see that. But this movie, he is insanely good in this movie. And like I said, the last 15, 20 minutes will punch you right in the gut and make you think about why, as a society, we value the things we do and are entertained by the things we are. And it was very good. I wouldn't say it's the perfect movie, but it's a very good movie and definitely worth your time. Check it out.
I'll throw a 2-second movie recommendation up there. I just watched Prey. It was awesome.
I know I haven't seen it yet. I'm very excited.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I like me some Predator. I've been saying for years, literally, if you could find Andre conversations through the years recorded, I've been saying, because I used to read some of the old Alien comics and Predator comics, and they would have episodes where it'd be like Vikings versus aliens.
Yeah,
and I'd be like, why don't Predator 2 sets up at the end where they give him the gun, which I think is alluded into this, that in this movie. That the trophy they give him is a gun they took from someone back in cowboy era is what it looked like. So I'm like, man, why don't they do a movie that's just Predators versus Cowboys? I know they did that stupid Cowboys and Aliens movie, but or Knights versus Predators or Samurais versus Predators. It'd be so fucking cool. Predators in World War I or II. You know, like just a platoon that fights predators. It'd be
Have
so
friggin'
good.
Predator versus like Attila the Hun, like
Yeah, all that would be great. So
or
that would be
like Genghis Khan, or like it'd be crazy.
Napoleon Bonaparte versus Predator. I'd watch that movie.
Oh,
but,
man, I'm there for
I
it
like
all.
that they like the last movie, The Predator, was really bad, and it was because of a lot of studio interference, from what I understand. But you know, I'm glad that they're bringing it back to something closer to its origin, and you know, and doing Predator the way it should be done, which is just Predator being a predator, being a hunter. So
yeah, it totally was that.
It's
and
very
good,
I'm excited to watch it.
Antagonist for the Predator. It was really good.
Yes, yeah, I'm excited. I'm glad you liked it because that means I'll probably like it.
Action schlock doesn't really work on me, so it has to be crafted really well to catch.
Yeah, and I love that it's based around native culture, and they lean hard into that, so that's really fun. And don't just treat it as a. I just recently listened to a podcast with Sterling Harjo, the guy that does Reservation Dogs, which I haven't watched yet, but I've heard really good things about. And he was talking about like how, you know, native representation in movies is always like there's some like a show of Reserve, or there'd be like some the really hammer in on the poverty. They'll show like a car on someone's lawn, then they'll show like an eagle for some reason, like just all these things that just get attributed to like native culture. And it's nice to see something that's respectful of it, I guess, and not just making it into a bunch of stereotypes or a cartoon.
It's hot cooking with Evan. All right. That was a G Love song, by the way. Go check out
Oh my
G
God,
Love.
that was loud.
Sauce.
It cut right to my
Was
very
it?
soul.
Oh, my bad. Well,
on my headphones it was. It's fine.
Oh, well. Sorry, listeners. Andre, no, sorry. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry.
You son of a bitch.
Hot cooking with Evan. It's kind of like Krakoa gardening, hot cooking. Gardening and cooking go hand in hand on Krakoa here. So I picked some collard greens from my garden that I grew. First time I've ever grown collard greens, and first time I ever really cooked with them. So I cooked them with them, just with them as the main component of the dish. And they're interesting. Collard greens, I don't know if you guys have ever had collard greens, but they have like a smell and flavor of, once they're cooked, of like chai tea, and they're fairly sweet for a green. So it's quite interesting. But it was a bit overpowering for me. I found that flavor a bit overpowering when, 90% of what you're eating is collard greens. However, I have a new favorite pizza topping, and that is collard greens. Slice it thin, put it on pizza. Oh my God. Like, I love things like broccoli and kale and stuff on pizza. And I think collard green and Tris chard is really good on pizza. But collard greens may be superior to all of them on pizza. Yeah. It really works. That kind of chai tea and religious flavor works with like a marinara sauce. Go for it.
I was at a restaurant in Alabama like 20 years ago, and they're like, I got some ribs, and they were like, here's some collard greens, and I go, what's a collard green? And they go, it's a green.
It's basically like, you wouldn't think it'd be one you eat because they look just like
dandelion greens, kind of, aren't they?
Leaves. No, they're more like they're a brassica. So the leaves just look like broccoli leaf or
spinach, almost.
Brussels sprouts leaf. Neither of those things you'd eat. So you pick them. It's like you're picking broccoli leaves, and they just smell like broccoli leaves. And then as soon as you cook it, it's just like, where's the chai tea coming from? It's interesting. All right, next segment. Oh yeah. Let's do it.
You must believe me. I'm not going mad.
Oops, wrong one. That's not what we're doing.
Sounds like a techno song.
This is what we're doing.
You even had like
the madness of Mater.
Oh my God, he's mad at Chelsea.
This is where you can. This is where you can gripe or celebrate anything you'd like. What's driving you mad? What's on the top of your mind? The madness of Mater.
Go deep into the madness, sir. Deep.
Yeah, go for it. We're here for you. Like, we're crying on each other's shoulders.
Madness of Mater's madness.
This episode is all about tears and kittens.
Tears.
Aw,
Kittens.
there should be no tears when kittens are involved.
I guess like I got this whole Game of Thrones sequel coming up, House of the Dragon. That well, I don't, but you know the world
Are
does.
you
Oh,
are you
you're the
making
star.
the show, Dave?
Yeah,
You're the showrunner, Dave?
And I'm not, but I'm still bitter about the last season of Game of Thrones, and I'm really like, do I want to give HBO a second shot at this? Did they deserve this? My return, but I think
You're like an abused girlfriend going back to your spouse who abused you. You're like,
Yeah,
this time, maybe
I'll give
this
it a
time
shot.
he's changed. Maybe this time he's changed. He hasn't, Dave. He
I
hasn't.
don't expect it to be as good as the first one, but
well, they botched that landing so hard in that
They
final
did.
season that
They did.
I think they I don't know, maybe something good will come of it, but it looks good by all.
Well, at least they're not shoehorned by trying to match the books and all this way. Like they can do their own thing, right? I mean, there's no books that establish what this stuff is.
No, they have a lot more freedom as long as it syncs up to what how the show starts off.
It isn't like centuries before where dragons are around.
Yeah, it's almost 200 years before.
Yeah, so I'm actually looking really forward to the Lord of the Rings one as well. We'll see how that goes. But although I saw a picture of what Sauron looks like before he becomes the flaming eye, and he just kind of looks like Eminem. He's like got this really blonde hair, and he kind of like, so it's kind of like we'll see where they go with it. But I'm
Lord
excited.
Slim Shady.
Yeah, there's actually a funny meme I sent my friend where they just did like the intro where it's like I can't remember, they recut it, so it's like matches up with something from 8 Mile. I can't remember how it went, but it was funny. Let's see if I can find it real quick.
homework from
Spacey
Professor
said it.
Zandre.
Andre, well, you better watch the next episode of the X-Men show, Cry the Phoenix. And by Cry the Phoenix, I mean the Phoenix Saga Part 4, the Starjammers, in which we meet Cyclops' father.
A real ragtag crew.
Man, you know what? I got a lot of time for space pirates, so I'm very excited to see Corsair, the father of Cyclops, makes an appearance. They're throwing everything at you in this story. You're getting the Phoenix, you're getting Juggernaut, you're getting Black Tom, you're getting the Shi'ar Empire, you're getting
The
evil Charles Xavier, you're getting the Morlocks underground again, you're getting fucking Lady Deathstrike, and now you're getting space pirates, one of which is Cyclops' father, coincidentally enough. So,
But they don't even tell us that in the episode, right? Like it's just like
Do they not?
Gene knows.
He
Gene senses it right away.
But Cyclops,
No, he doesn't know either. Neither Corsair nor they don't recognize each other. He hasn't seen him since he was a kid. But Gene puts it all
Is it
together.
ever addressed on the show?
Oh, I bet you. I'm sure they get to that.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, I hope so, because I like me some Starjammers, and I want to see some, and I like me some Cyclops. I want to see some Cyclops father drama action.
Hasn't been a lot of Cyclops this season.
This is kind of what I hope we get when the X-Men come into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I hope we get shit like this. I want to see the Starjammers. It'd be fun.
Yeah,
fun.
So do I. So do I. So bad.
I want to see.
Played by Jonathan Frakes. If Corsair is not played by Jonathan Frakes, then there is no
old. He's too old.
Get Corsair's an old man. What do you think? He's this young fella with a middle-aged son.
Jonathan
Cyclops.
Frakes
Come
is
on now.
Jonathan Frakes is probably close to 70 now. What is he, like in his
Jonathan Frakes is
mid-60s?
like God among men. He can handle it. Anyway.
Okay. Nobody's saying you can't handle it. I'm just saying you probably shouldn't play that role.
We'll see.
You know, I think would be a good Corsair, because he was almost Star-Lord. I guess he came pretty close to getting the part. Was Glenn Howerton, who plays Dennis.
No, he's too young for Corsair. See, you're all over the map here.
Well, I like to see a roguish space. He could be one of the Starjammers, a roguish space character.
Okay. He could be on the Guardians of the Galaxy for sure. They're recasting that whole team, so just throw them on there.
Well, I think there's some of them are going to get happy endings or die, and then some others might go on to be in other movies. But
yeah, what's going on the Greg Histories podcast there?
Sadly, I don't know. I'm having trouble getting guests, and my life is incredibly busy right now. So I think I might take a brief hiatus over the summer and pick it up again in this. I'm not 100% sure yet. I'm trying to debate it around, but I literally like Monday nights rehearsals for the play. Tuesday night's this. Wednesday night is trivia that I host. Thursday night is the other rehearsal for the play. Fridays usually I'm doing movie nights at a bar place every other Friday now. And then the weekends usually I have wrestling or something else to go. So it's tough. So I don't want to give it up, but unfortunately some other podcast came along and started taking my time. I don't know what that one could be. It could perhaps be the one I'm on right now that I'm enjoying thoroughly and finding hard to split the time between. But there's
the burdens of a Renaissance man.
I think I may just take a brief few week hiatus over the summer, come back in the fall once the play's over and pick up again. So hopefully I don't lose any listeners. The 25.
Listen to back episodes. There's lots there on the Graphic History Podcast. We finally have a new episode in the can on Locutors of Trek.
Oh my God!
Wow!
I did tell my Star Trek loving friend about you, and he looked you up. So I think he may be listening.
Awesome. I've started editing it. I
too love Star Trek.
I don't edit this one. This is an X-rated, crazy, mutant-infested shit show over here, but we love it. And so yeah, that'll be out in a few days. And then, in the meantime, if you want to check out some Star Trek content,
yes, well, coming up shortly in the next 19 minutes, guys.
Yeah,
we will be starting our D Space Nine at 9-ish. We've been doing almost well over 2 years now. We knew it would take us at least 3.5 years to watch every episode of Star Trek D Space Nine we call it D Space Nine at 9-ish, 9 Eastern, 10 where you guys are. Tonight we're talking about the episode Blaze of Glory, the great finale to Michael Eddington.
My lucky loony.
I'm going to try to jump in on that podcast, but if not, she's a 10.
I loved Eddington. I think we've talked about this before, but I'm a huge Deep Space Nine fan. It's the only Star Trek show I'll go back and rewatch every so many years. And
it's so good.
I love the Gibert and relationship.
Jean Valjean.
Right.
There's a real poetic.
You betrayed your uniform.
You'll never convince me that Sisko is not the greatest captain on Star Trek.
Oh,
he is the best. See that nice?
Would you like to go to a baseball game?
Painting right there.
Oh yeah, very nice.
New Jenny R. Johnson art there. Check that out. So is the Sisko and the poker game one over there.
The episode where him and Garrett get the Romulans involved in the war is one of the best episodes of television.
One of the Pale Moonlight, yeah.
In the Pale Moonlight, and as is you know what I'm saying, Far Beyond the Stars. That's one of the best pieces of anything you'll ever see.
And we haven't got to either of those ones yet. They're next season, but we're almost done season 5 of Deep Space Nine. Also on Monday nights, we talk about Star Trek Enterprise, and we've been going through every episode. We're up to season 2. Last night, the episode was Precious Cargo. Next one's
skip
called
it.
The Cat.
Watch their podcast, but don't bother watching the episodes.
Even if they're bad,
no.
we watch them. We talk.
And I credit you guys for getting through because I love every episode of Deep Space Nine, but there's some episodes in the first 2 seasons that are a little bit of a slug. 3's where it really goes nuts. But
it was not a fun time.
The one where that
I don't agree with that perception of DS9. I think there's like 2 bad episodes of the series, and
the move along home episode
and move along home
in the game is like
move along home is the one.
But that one is funny. I actually quote that one
fun,
all the time. Like the second shap. That one has a charm.
Only children star on the first shap.
Yeah. See, that's a hilarious episode. Take it back. Take it back.
Okay, take it back.
Where is it?
What are you doing over here on Super Mater Brothers podcasting?
Super Mario Podcasting. Right now, we're in the thick of Big Brother season 24, if you can believe it. Unlike Survivor, they only do 1 a year over there. It's been an interesting season so far. A lot of blindsides, some twists, some bullying, guys. But if that's not your speed, then obviously don't check it out. But if it is, you should. Every Sunday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we're talking about Big Brother 24. We've also been talking about Big Brother Canada. I'm looking at putting my audition video in for that, by the way.
I tried out for that once.
Yeah, you went through the. I sent a tape in last year, didn't get a call, so I'm gonna try something different.
I got a call in.
Tell them you have podcast support. I'll even hype it on.
It's fun. I thought I would have got further along because I went in and what they did when I went, and I don't watch the show. I've never seen it before. I just went because I thought it'd be interesting. They put you in little pods with people, and then they ask you questions to try to like get you at each other like they would in the show. And one of them was like this one. They're like, "What do you like? What would you do to like? What did they say? Something to this girl, this really vapid, like cheerleader-y, like ditzy blonde woman beside me. Not that blonde makes her ditzy, just this is what she looked like." And she's like, "They're like, what would you bring to the house?" She's like, "I just like to like say things to get people going at each other. Like I really like causing drama." And then like, and then they're like, and that sort of thing. And then they go, "Andre, what kind of
you're perfect." Andre, what about you?
They go, Andre, what kind of person don't you like? And I was like, that kind of person. And I pointed right at her. And then I purposely was a little antagonistic. And at the end, they ask everyone in the group, who would you vote out? And every single one of them said me. So I was like, I think I caused enough drama that maybe it'd be interesting, but I never got any further.
Oh, interesting. Well, hey, I got to try a few times. I know Jamil's trying out for it too. So
and Sam, if it's you and Jamil and Sam, I'll watch it.
Yeah, that's what all the naysayers say. They're like, I don't watch that show. Like you and Adam Woodward and others, and they're like, if you're on it, we'll watch it. I'm like, okay, if I can only get you guys to watch it by being,
I'll watch it if you're on it for sure.
All right,
I don't like those sort of shows, but I will watch it for you.
Well, that's what I'm going to do it for. And then yes, Trivial Debates coming up August 21st.
This is old news. Actually, this is
old news. We already plugged it. So
it's an out of date poster. I got a message from Adam Woodward during this very podcast. He wants to swap this one out for me.
He's tagging you in?
Looks like it.
Well,
hey, brother, can you take my place in Trivial Debates on the 28th? I'm taking my son to NYC.
But it's not on the 28th. It's on the 21st.
All right, you guys figure this out.
And I don't know what to tell him. I think he could probably keep that spot.
We'll see. We'll figure it out.
I won't be around on the 21st.
He's misinformed.
Well, there's all kinds of controversy over there at Trivial Debates. That's the fun
Trivial
of it.
Debates.
Yep. And so that's like the end of the plug there. We're getting around to the end of the show here. If you like our show, you can support us on. You just hold your horses.
I gotta pee real bad. Let's go.
Okay. Support the show. Patreon x.com/review show. It's not for nothing. You get sweet merch. I made sure any way you support us, you get like a sticker, a T-shirt, a mug, something cool.
And we're gonna work when I have a little more. We're gonna work when I have a little more time to make some more cool stuff. So
yeah. So there's more coming. You can contact us at the Gmail X-Men Show. You can follow us on Facebook, YouTube's, all those things. Maybe Twitch. I think so. I got an email for today. I don't know what that means. Anyway, you can find the audio only version of our podcast wherever you get your podcasts. And of course, like, review, subscribe. We got lots of likes and stuff. Keep them coming, of course. But some reviews.
Yes.
It'd be nice to hear what you think. We'd love to hear your reviews. Any final words, gentlemen?
So long.
Thanks for having me back, guys. It's been, I really loved your interview with Lenozan. I thought that was super awesome. Just wanted to mention
we enjoyed it as well.
Yeah, good stuff. And
are we having a special guest next week still, Davin? Should we announce that, or is that confirmed?
Next week? Oh no, that's the Dark Phoenix Saga. Oh,
I thought
a special
they
guest.
Were Starjammers who were coming next week.
Oh yeah. My buddy X-Man Dan, I think, is going to join us next week.
I thought it was Mr. C's. He's not coming next episode.
Who?
God, Cutler. I thought he said
no. Dave Cutler doesn't want to join us till the Iceman episode.
Oh, I thought he was Starjammers episode. Okay, I misunderstood.
No, he says Iceman, the first Phoenix, Dark Phoenix one. There's a few others he mentioned. None of them are next week.
Well, I look
X-Man
Dan.
My buddy X-Man Dan.
All right.
And
catch you guys next time, as Davin says.
Thanks, guys.
Freaks.
And I guess forget us freaks.
Can't hurt me, these Jamaican colors.
All right, yeah. Catch it next time.
Next time.
1, 2, 3.